All right. I believe we are now live
Live.
on Facebook. Perfect. Well then, let me go ahead and welcome everyone who is tuning in tonight for the very first time to our soft opening of the Sandra Seacat Virtual Theater. We are coming to you guys live from Artist Corner, and Artist Corner is a free open platform of live streaming theater and curated arts related content, and we are found at azactorsacademy.com. I am your host. My name is Evan Obayashi, and I'm joined here today with my co-host Rachel Grimes, Rachel, we've known each other for 4 years now, is it?
Yeah, a little more than 4 years.
Okay,
I think.
So pretty comfortable. We've got a great relationship here, but also more importantly, a great show tonight because we will be featuring an original screenplay. It is called To Catch a Cat. It is written by a screenwriter who is extremely close to the both of us. And she goes by the name of Jacque Arend. And Jackie, just kind of as a background on her, she is, well, for me personally, she introduced me to improv. She was my instructor, and she still is currently an instructor at the Arizona Actors Academy, as well as an administrator there, and creatively an artist in her own right, a brilliant one at that. And luckily, she has lent this screenplay to us to use in this first test run. So, Jackie, are you there?
Yes, here I am. Yeah.
Hey!
How's everything going, Jackie?
Pretty good, thank you.
We are so happy to have you here, Jackie.
Well, thank you for giving me a place to share my work.
Absolutely. So, To Catch a Cat, this screenplay that I got a chance to read was, at least to me, it came off as like a serial comic spy thriller. Can you give us like some sort of a background on it, just to describe to the audience what to expect in this meeting?
I guess it's a cross of genres. It's like romantic comedy meets spy thriller, suspense. It's got like an out of sight feeling to it. If you remember that movie with George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez. And I feel like for whatever reason, when I wrote it, I was very inspired to kind of write it a certain way, and that helps me get through it with a very particular voice, I suppose, which I find to be genre non-specific in a way.
I'm sorry. I just want to ask really quick on that inspiration. Can you be a little bit more specific on, what it was exactly that inspired you to write this screenplay? And I think it's pretty detailed. It looks like it took a lot of time to go into it,
Well, I guess I'd been kind of mulling about a variety of different like organized crime stories.
As you do.
So I do have many iterations of this badass female who, was born into organized crime, wants to be a good person sort of trope. And I kind of just kind of settled on essentially this idea of this one relationship getting together. And it went through a few iterations before it kind of found this organic path. Like the first time I wrote it, it was pretty terrible. It was really bad. The plot was bad. But I loved the two main characters, the female and the male lead that I created, and the buddy cop relationship between Temerson and Ed, which you'll see a little bit. And also this idea of like a one night stand between two people who really needed somebody, but maybe shouldn't have been the best person to turn to. So I stripped all of that out and just kind of tried to rewrite. And at that point, I had kind of settled on the fact that I wanted it to be a bit of a tribute to like Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg and what they did with their Cornetto trio. just kind of having a lot of pop culture inspirations in general, and then trying to kind of collage them together into one epic opus, so to speak.
Right. And that trio you're referencing, that's Edgar Wright, Sean Pegg, Nick Frost, and they're the guys behind like Shaun of the Dead. And
they also did Space together, which was an English sitcom that had 2 seasons.
Now, really quick, Jackie, I'm just going to take a couple steps back because I feel like we've thrown out some key information here, but I don't know if the audience is quite up to speed with us as the 3 of us. So if you could kind of just give a quick summary on what Catch a Cat is about, and even introduce the characters that we will hear in a second in our staged reading of this of these selected scenes from this screenplay. If you could kind of break that down for us.
Sure. You want me to do both scenes, the first and the second now, or?
Let's start with the first as well as the characters, and then we'll
the general.
The second one.
Okay, so Tim Timerson is the male lead. It opens on him. The movie does. He's I really don't want to say too much leading into the first scene, because part of the experience is not knowing a lot about what's going on. So we'll just say Tim Timerson. He's written to be like in his late 40s, close to 50. In a long-term relationship with a woman that he works with. And the movie essentially opens on him having gotten out of the city. It takes place in England, actually, so he's English. And we open up with him and his parents, and he had just caught his best friend that he works with the woman that he's been in a long-term relationship with, that they all work together. And he caught his best friend sleeping with his girlfriend, who he was about to propose to. He had gotten this big promotion at work, going to propose to her, and catches them in bed. So that's how it starts. His mom ends up dragging him to see the community play in their little town. It's Blythe Spirit. She drags him out just to get his mind off of things, and the actress playing the main character, Ruth, in the play, strikes him for some odd reason, and he's kind of hovering after the play to kind of see her or whatever, and finds out that she's going to the pub, and then he ends up heading to the pub to catch more of her, I suppose. So leading up to the first scene that we're doing, her name is Maxine. She's also English, and they interact at the bar. He kind of maneuvers his way over to get near her, and they belly up to the bar together, and she had bought him the first drink, and they had a little exchange. And I think we're picking up right at that first exchange, aren't we?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
First
they're at the pub. Don't call it a bar. We're there at the pub. The whole cast is there. They're having a good time playing the jukebox, and this is that point.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Now, before we jump in here, just to kind of catch the audience up to speed. So part of these Friday night readings is we've actually, how do I say this, recruited actors in our network to come join us and lend their talents to reading these roles that Jackie has written. And so without further ado, to introduce the first 2, playing the character of Maxine is Janina Picard, and she is originally from Frankfurt, and I can't pronounce that in a German accent. I'm sorry, Janina. Frankfurt, Germany. But she is currently studying for her MFA at the Actor Studio Drama School. And on top of that, she's also studied with Brandy Hotchner at the Arizona Actors Academy in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Janina, how's it going?
Hello, my friend. I'm good. How are you?
We're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
It's our privilege, absolutely. In addition to Janina, we have an actor by the name of James Powers, who will be reading the role of Tim Timerson. And James, just some background on him. He's a Phoenix-based actor. He's also studying at the Arizona Actors Academy. And James, I believe you've been in Phoenix since 2005. Is that correct?
Yeah, coming up on 15 years, actually.
Got it. Okay, so you're basically a veteran here. Awesome. So without, I guess, any more delay, we will go ahead and jump in. I'm going to be reading the staging directions. But yeah, I guess if there aren't any questions, let's go ahead and get started, guys.
We are so excited.
Okay, so to open us up, we are in that very pub that Jackie was speaking of. Tim Timerson is watching Maxine as she is settling in and mingling at the bar. She catches him and, she moves toward the bar. Tim Timerson gets up and stands directly behind her.
A pint, Elijah, for me, and one for the fella here.
Oh, thank you.
And 2 shots of Jameson, please.
The person beside Maxine leaves their spot and he takes bellies up.
Hello, I'm Maxine.
She offers him her hand. They shake. He's caught off guard and tries to recover.
Timerson.
Still holding onto her hand, he regains composure by turning her hand and kissing it. She is amused and curtsies for him, letting go and returning the shot of Jameson. She grabs one and hands him one.
Well, Tim Timerson, cheers.
Cheers. You were great, by the way.
Thank you for supporting local theater.
You've been in this town long?
Just a few months, just for the show, really. What about you? I haven't seen you in town.
This is my hometown, but I live in London.
Just visiting then?
Needed to get out of the city.
Pray tell.
It's just stuff.
Right, stuff is a bugger.
Suddenly, Michael Jackson's Will You Be There begins to play.
Oh, I picked this song. You know this song? Hold me like the river Jordan, and I will say to thee, you are my friend. Excuse me, I gotta dance. You wanna dance?
Tim shakes his head no.
Suit yourself.
Maxine leaves the bar with her beer on the dance floor. She dances and sings along. Timerson watches her mesmerized. Later, Maxine comes up to the bar again, this time near where Timerson took a seat and is chatting with friends.
Another pin, please.
This one's on me.
Tim Timerson, we meet again.
Yes, we do. What's your story?
It's boring.
I doubt that.
Cliche then. I'm just a wannabe artist hopping around searching for my place in life.
So a gypsy?
Yeah, something like that. What about you? What's your story?
Oh, no, mine's personal.
You get your heart broke?
Rather forward question. Again, personal.
Okay. Don't express yourself. Repress that energy and just be miserable. Suit yourself.
No, wait a minute. Do I seem miserable?
You don't seem to be interested in talking.
Tit for tat.
Excuse me?
I'll open up to you and you open up to me.
Okay. You first.
Why me? Fine. You want to hear cliche? My best friend at work slept with my girlfriend. My live-in girlfriend. I was about to propose to love of my life, girlfriend. Girlfriend who I spent countless hours planning a future with. Girlfriend that also works with us, so coworkers. Best friend, girlfriend, and me in the corner fucked, and despite my demeanor, I'm furious about it. The whole 9 yards.
All right. Okay. Wow, friend. Did you catch them in the act? Did you punch your friend in the nose? Did you kick her out of the house while lighting her things on fire?
All of those things.
Good.
Well, only some of those things.
Hmm.
The less dramatic of those things.
You caught them? Where? In your bed? And then kicked her out? Well, boring. Yet so tragically cliche.
It's Greek level tragedy, really. Cheated on with my best friend.
That is, yeah, sorry, mate. Why would your best friend do that? Is he in love with her?
God, no. He's most likely proving a point.
What kind of a point would you prove by doing that?
He doesn't like her for me. He doesn't like her for me.
Sure, and that makes more sense.
Well, she's beautiful, intelligent. She's
Not
just...
the right girl for you.
Well, so he says. So they all say.
Well, that should tell you something. How recent was this?
Last night.
Oh my.
3 years. 3 years we were together, and God, the ring is even in my pocket. It's been in my pocket for 3 weeks. I got a promotion at work, and I thought, this is it. Just waiting for the right moment. I'm an idiot.
Oh no, not an idiot. She's the idiot. This is a beautiful ring.
It's a special ring.
What a fucking tart. Yeah, it's perfectly valid to be grieving that relationship. And there is no right or wrong way to grieve. So, you're what? Rebounding then?
I didn't intend to. I had no intention of.
Sleeping with me? Are you going to dance at any point?
Me? No. No, I don't. I don't really.
I think it would make you feel better if you danced. Let loose a little, shake the recent past away, live for the moment. Come on, my dancing legs won't stop moving, and I think you should join me.
Hold on, I just unloaded on you. Tit for tat, remember?
After we dance.
No, really?
I promise. Please. You can't leave me to dance by myself. How fucking depressing. I'd be so lonely.
Well, I wouldn't want you to be lonely.
Clips of dancing, some fast, funky music, and then a soulful, smooth, and saucy number. After a couple songs, they walk outside on the pub patio for air. Exterior pub patio night.
Okay, I danced. Now you.
Is that all you can think about? After all that fun?
It was fun.
There you go. Relish it for a moment. My father passed.
Oh.
Suddenly, not in a natural way. Recently.
Was he murdered?
God, no. Car accident.
Oh. Boring.
Well, I'm avoiding it quite a lot, actually. There's was a lot of unresolved issues with my father. So I'm a bit overwhelmed by it. But times are ticking, you know,
Meaning,
you just can't carry those things around forever.
well, that's not tragically cliche. That seems normal.
Well, there are car chases, espionage, cover-ups, hungry dragons, and a fight between heaven and hell all the meanwhile. So tragically cliche in so many ways. I should also mention the sacrificial plea of firstborn children and the getting stuck in the hands of Hades. It's a real battle of good versus evil.
Okay, now we're talking. Look, I'm sorry about your father, really.
He was a good father. I was an only child and he was a single dad. It was not easy, but he always protected me.
And now he's gone. Who will protect you now?
Come on, let's dance.
She drags Timerson reluctantly back into the pub. Cut to interior pub, nighttime. The night begins to get swept away as they get looser. We see them having fun, talking, dancing, more singing.
So much fun. Thank you.
I can't remember the last time I've actually had this much fun.
You're kidding. You don't do this every night?
I don't get out much. I have a very time-consuming job.
And what is that, Tim Timerson?
You can just call me Tim.
I think I'll just call you whatever I want to call you. Tim, what do you do?
I'm an architect.
Really?
Yep.
What style do you lean to?
What style? Oh, like style of buildings, right. Like mid-century, mod.
Chic. So you're working all the time designing mid-century buildings?
Mhm.
Is this was what destroyed your relationship?
Oh, right. No, I don't think so. She's in the same business. I don't know, maybe. Everything I achieved for her, everything I achieved, I did for her. Really.
You forgot all about it, didn't you? Didn't you? Look at that. Already getting over the tart. You know, sometimes in our life, we find ourselves at a point where we have a crossroad. One path is familiar and comfortable, and the other is completely brand new and full of fear, which is actually really exciting if you think about it. So the question is, Timmy, do you brave your soul? I need a distraction, and so do you. Forget about tomorrow. Wild abandon?
Throw caution to the wind.
Fuck it! 2 more shots of Jameson, please.
Fuck it. Are you seducing me?
No more than you or me.
Cut to exterior, outside bar, nighttime. They are sitting on a stone wall.
So, yeah, I know Blythe's spirit, and my mom won't shut up about it.
Little Tim Timerson conquering community play.
Pretty much.
You know, I love being an artist in these small little towns. It's so appreciated. You keep your integrity, your honesty, and your privacy.
Are those all things that are important to you?
I think at least 2 of the 3 should be important to everyone. Don't you?
Yes, privacy, very important. Honesty, on the other hand, can I walk you home?
You've already done it.
Here.
Yeah, just up the stairs.
You live over the bar?
Fitting, don't you think?
Well, then,
You can come up. Unless you have a curfew.
oh no, my parents don't care. I can stay out as late as I want.
Pretty cool parents. I understand if it's too soon.
He grabs her and kisses her, taking complete control. She relaxes in his arms and then leads him up to the stairs to her door. They enter. Interior flat night. It is a small flat with a front room, bedroom, and kitchen. There isn't much to it.
Please make yourself comfortable. I'm just going to use the bathroom.
Of course.
Timerson takes off his jacket. He reaches at his ankle and removes a gun holster. He stares at it for a moment, and then he frantically tries to conceal it in his coat and set it somewhere out of the way. He begins to look around at the minimal things she has strewn about the place. You can tell she hasn't been there long. He picks up a picture from the table. It is a picture of a little girl on her father's lap. Suddenly, Maxine returns from the bathroom. He quickly sets it back down. They stare each other down for a moment, then both move fervently at each other and begin to kiss. He lifts her up, she wraps her legs around him, and he takes her to the bedroom. We see through the doorway him lay her on the bed. And that is the end of scene 1. Thank you guys so much. Jackie, you still with us?
Yes, I am. Yes.
It got hot and heavy in there.
Yeah, it gets hot and heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they need it.
What are some of the things you can fill us in on about, especially like that last description that I just read? I feel like there were a couple curveballs going out that might have been.
Yeah, so this is kind of the big reveal where the movie turns into something that you don't expect it to be, which is kind of the hope. The hope is that you're constantly throwing curveballs at the audience. So he has a gun, so we know that he's something that needs to carry a gun. Not sure what exactly. The picture and the purpose of the picture comes up much later, which you'll have to wait. You'll have to wait for that. But essentially, what happens is the next morning, because we're not covering this part, he wakes up alone, and he's freaking out, and he gets up to check his stuff, and his gun is gone now at this point, and he's extremely panicked. And when he goes into the kitchen of the flat, she's making breakfast, and she puts his gun on him, and she's American, so she's not actually English.
That's right.
What's that?
I said that's right. And technically,
Yeah.
Tim Emerson is English.
So, technically he's English.
He is English.
Yeah. Yes, he is absolutely English, but Maxine is not English. She's American. And they have breakfast together, and she's questioning him about whether or not he's a cop, or an assassin, if he's there to kill her, or if he's an MI agent. And through that process, we discover that she's on the run for killing her father. And Timerson knew who she was the entire time.
And so it's not possible that he's just a gunslinging architect. Like we're throwing that out the window.
Well, we do find out that he's an MI agent through that conversation. He didn't know that she was going to be there. He does just surprise come upon her, but he's been following these arms dealers in England as a domestic case, and she's associated through her father. Her father's an arms dealer. He was murdered, and she's pinned for the murder. And she's telling him, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And he's saying, well, let me help you. And she's like, F that business. I'm not a rat. And essentially insinuating, I guess, that there's already a rat somewhere. Tim does end up, what she does is she ends up cuffing him to the radiator and leaving him at the flat, and disappearing. And then when he goes back to the office, this FBI agent named AJ Smith shows up, and he's like, her real name is Vivian Allen. So he's like, Vivian Allen is here in England. I'm joining you boys, you fellas. He keeps calling them boys. And we're gonna catch this girl, and she's very dangerous. So he's like, in town. But I think like Timerson kind of, well, what ends up happening is they run into each other again, and she finds out that Timerson has actually been following her for quite some time and has developed a fascination with her. He knows a lot about her, and so that whole time in the pub, he was just really trying not to lead on to her, that he was, I guess he was kind of just tempting. He was dancing with the devil, essentially.
And that kind of brings us here to this second scene that we have queued up for our audience. Do you mind giving like a quick kind of catch up to just where we are outside of this scene, Jackie, really quick?
Yeah, definitely. So Vivian shows up at his house and is like, decides that she wants to help him. I think a little bit of it is that she decides she doesn't want to do it alone, and she trusts him for some reason. And he gets word from her that he's supposed to meet her in Amsterdam. He's not real sure why. He goes into work to grab surveillance equipment and ends up getting stuck with his partner, the one who slept with his girl. So he's still pissed at him.
And that's Edward, correct?
That's Ed, yes, Ed. Yeah. And they're longtime buddies, been working together as agents for a long time. Good friends. But Edward is a little misogynistic. He definitely likes women. He's a bro, I guess, but he's got a huge heart. I mean, he's really a delightful character. He's like one of my favorite characters to really explore.
Also not someone to trust with your girlfriend, apparently.
Yeah, well, he's trying to tell.
He's got a big heart, though. He's got a really big heart.
Yeah, well, he's trying to tell Timerson that he did it, because the girl wasn't the right one for him. I mean, Edward ultimately would really just enjoys. Anyway, I mean, that's all. He just likes sex, but he thinks that Timerson's going down the wrong path, and he sees better for him, I guess. So that was his last ditch effort to convince Timerson that this girl wasn't someone he could.
Got it. So we're at this scene right now with both Timerson and Edward, and it takes place in Amsterdam, correct?
Yeah, and nobody in the agency knows that he's doing it. He said that it was an informant, and that they needed to go alone. So right now he's kind of doing this side project alongside the agency's own mission. So it's like a little side mission.
And he is tagging along with Edward, which I'm sure is a fun trip in that as well.
Yeah.
With that, thank you, Jackie. I do want to introduce two more actors here. First, the one playing Edward goes by the name of Tristan Heath. He's one of my personal friends. He's also he's Phoenix based, but he's originally from Houston, Texas. He's currently studying with Brandy Hotchner at the Arizona Actors Academy as well. And I don't want to say that bro would be a fitting description, but I'm excited for this here. Tristan, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, man. I'm ready to jump in.
Cool. Thank you again. I also want to introduce Paul Gortades. He's a Phoenix-based artist. I don't just say actor because he's a writer in his own respect. Paul is going to be reading. It's a smaller role. It's the role of the bartender. And just some background on him. He's currently working on his debut novel, which I can't really talk about, but we're all pretty excited about it. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Cool. Thank you again for lending your time here.
Anytime.
With that, we will go ahead and jump back into the reading. Again, this is picking up later in the screenplay. We are starting in an exterior shot. We are in Amsterdam. It is during the day. Edward, who is played by Tristan, and Timerson, who is played by James, they get out in front of Smith Wicky's, which is a pub that Janina's character, who goes by now Vivian, or Viv, has told them to meet her at.
Amsterdam.
It's an interior shot now inside Smith Wicky's. It's daytime. They walk into the pub, and Timerson walks up to the bartender.
Pardon me, sir. Could you tell me how to find room 2?
Who's asking?
I am. Timerson?
Tim Timerson.
That'd be the one. Don't ask.
Who's this guy?
He's with me.
His name?
Edward.
Through the back and up the stairs.
Of course. Thank you.
Cut to the backyard.
Listen, Ed, you have to make me a hard promise right now before we go up these steps.
Okay, whatever it is.
Whatever happens, we are not to speak of it to anyone. You hear me? Anyone. My anonymous informant. It's strictly anonymous. Got it?
Got it. I'm excited to meet her.
I can trust you, right?
With your life.
I wish I could say the same for my girlfriend.
How long is this going to go on?
It's only been 3 days. Damn, a lot's happened in 3 days.
They get to the top of the steps, and Timerson knocks. No one answers, so he tries the knob. It is unlocked, so they quietly continue to enter, prepared to arm themselves. Cut to interior, front room, daytime. It's a small flat with a front room, kitchen and stairs leading up to the bedroom. Vivian suddenly walks out of the kitchen.
Oh, hey. Wasn't sure when to expect you. Is that Edward? Relax, come in.
She waves them into the kitchen.
Anyone could walk in here?
That's cute. You're worried about me. I'm much smarter than that. So, this is Edward? My, aren't you a tall beast? Oh gosh, these muscles. Do you see these big arms?
Yes. I'm aware of his arms.
I just want to be hugged by you all day. Can you imagine being wrapped in these things?
No, why would I want to imagine that?
I'll hug you.
No, you will not.
It's just a hug.
What is all this?
I thought you'd be hungry.
Starving.
He hugs her.
That's enough.
Timerson, food.
Yeah, sure.
What's this tension here? There's something going on between you two?
I'm only seeing the tension between you two.
Who? Us?
Yeah, you slept with his fiancée.
Viv. No, not really the time or place.
Saved. I saved him and she wasn't his fiancée.
You knew I was proposing.
She wouldn't have said yes. Or she would have said yes, and or even worse, ditched you on your wedding day. I'm certain of it.
You don't know that.
She didn't love you. She was a cheater.
Because you made her one.
Come on, T. You're missing the point. You will one day appreciate me for what I did.
Yeah, what are we doing here? Because it certainly wasn't to drink and sit down and have wine together and work out our issues.
Relax, guys.
We just got here. We can enjoy life for a moment with some delicious food and wine, can't we? It's really, really best if we talked about it. You never really talked about your feelings.
That's terrible for someone who feels so much.
Okay, we are here for business, and that's it.
Aw.
I get it. You're right. You're in control. All right, let's get to work. You start.
You dragged me to Amsterdam.
Correct. That is where my meetup is taking place. I have two very old friends who used to entertain visitors and plan parties for the McCormicks. They don't do that work much anymore, but McCormick brings them in every now and then for these much bigger events. So therefore tonight they are taking out two of Sarah's men. Is it good?
Delicious.
I can't get in touch with Sarah because he gets watched like a hawk, but I can get an invitation to the table through the grapevine.
Why don't you just go through McCormick?
McCormick is working with the rat.
What rat?
She won't say.
Maybe it's Agent Barrett, the director, or AJ. Is it you? Maybe it's me.
If McCormick's working with the rat, then what makes you think that I'll get an invite at all? Or that you'll get an invite?
Every member of the table gets to send a proxy if they can make it. Sarah would let me sit in his stead if I make him a deal. I know Sarah would not turn my offer down.
What happens when Arthur finds out you'll be at the table?
They are hoping I get to the table. So it's a win-win.
Wait, what do they want you at the table for?
They want to kill me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, a large hit on my head. Even you guys are in on it. Whatever way necessary, need her alive, but don't need her in one piece.
Heavy.
Let's just find out where the meeting is, and we can revisit your seat at the table later. Tell us how the night will play out.
We are meeting in 2 hours. What kind of surveillance stuff do you guys have? Seriously? I cannot go in there with that. We'll use this. This is an unidentifiable tab that goes right behind your ear. And these contact lenses for me, first person point of view. Here are the specs to hook it up to your monitor, whichever one of you does that.
That's all, Edward.
All right, I'm gonna start getting ready. Here you go. This file, this should prepare you. Breakdown of schedule and where I think we'll be heading, locations to check out. Of course, there is always room for spontaneity, so I have a list of alternatives. Little info on everyone that will be there. Should keep you busy. Oh, also, I rented a van for you.
You're what then? Taking a shower?
Yeah, that's right.
Vivian leaves the kitchen as both men watch her walk away.
Is she single?
No.
No?
No, you're not sleeping with her.
Why not?
Because I said so.
There's something about her.
Yeah, she's on the FBI's most wanted list.
Sexy. Did you, you slept with her?
No?
Yes.
Can you get that stuff linked up, please?
Yes, no problem. They almost link better and far easier to manage than this Ice Age crap. No details?
And that is the end of scene 2. Thank you guys again for your participation. Jackie, you still with us?
Yes, yes, I am.
I feel like I have to ask because you disappeared and you come back, so you never know. But fill us in a little bit. What just went down, and if you can, without spoiling too much, what is this all leading up to?
Yeah, so essentially Timerson and Edward are partners on a big case, a big domestic case with these guys, the McCormicks, who are arms dealers that they're trying to catch. And because because this American, Vivian's dad, passed, he essentially has all of this territory and all these goods up for barter. So the McCormicks are hosting this big meeting with all these arms dealers around the world to auction off his stash. And so Timerson and Edward are trying to find out where this meeting's at. So Vivian is meeting with these guys, Surratt's men, because Surratt's not going to show up for the meeting and she wants to take his place. And so they're just trying to find out where the location of the meeting is. That's the big piece of information that Timerson and Edward need to get, which they're hopefully getting through Vivian, who is now a rat in the working with the feds. Well, not the feds, because the FBI. Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you. I guess, is there, because I guess we're approaching here the end of the show. Is there anything, as far as what to do with, a screenplay like this next, what you're hoping to do with it, that you can kind of give us or lend us as far as your vision of the whole thing?
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Rambly. I have a lot to do with it still. This version actually is like a 0.03 draft behind. I have been trying to update it a little bit more and make it feel a little bit more British. This is one of the big things. Yeah, I think it's just nice to kind of have written something and to hear the words being spoke. I mean, that scene that we just did just back then, I realized I didn't set it up very well because there was so much technical information in terms of what was going on. Yeah, it's really long. Like the whole script right now is like 136 pages. So I have to figure out too how to cut it back so it's not an epic.
Yeah, it's still incredibly easy to read and super entertaining. But okay, well, I mean, I guess that concludes the show for tonight. So before we go, I do want to just say to anyone watching out there tonight on the interwebs, please be sure to tune in for next week, which is our official grand opening of the virtual theater. We are going to be featuring a playwright by the name of Tom Cavanaugh. He is a colleague from the Actors Studio. He's essentially lent us 3 of his short plays. We'll be reading it with a cast of actors as well in similar fashion, and hopefully doing a talk back as well. But other than that, for more weekly newsletter announcements, for more announcements, you can check out our weekly newsletter, which we will be posting a link for, but in case you're eager to see it first, you can find it at azactorsacademy.com/artists-corner. So other than that, anything else before we get going here, guys?
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is
super fun. Thank you.
Thank you,
That was
Jackie.
great.
Yeah.
All right, we are going unlive now. Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right.
Alrighty.
Feed your artist soul.
Bye.